Hello, we're back. It's Normal Player Guy, and today's video will be the difference between Ginyu and Bardock. Who did it better? So the Ginyu team Bardock team is out. So now we have the Bardock EZAs out, all but the STR one, but don't worry, that'll be shortly. So we're going to go through a quick summary of why I think the Ginyu one is better, and I do really think it's better. Although don't get me wrong, the team Bardock does have some aces in its own whole, but right now I'd say that the Ginyu does have it better. So, of course, we open up with the leader of the team Bardock. It's a nice 120% to start. So, obviously, we've got a better leader coming in. And, of course, it's pretty basic. But I think based on this, I have a 80% chance of knowing what the easy A for this is. And that's based on because the Ginyu one prior had the exact same stats. It greatly raised attack and it gave an attack buff and extreme class and Ginyu force buff. And we have a look at this: greatly raised attack, super class allies attack, and of course super class and Bardock allies. So you'd imagine that his EZA is going to look largely like this. It'll be 130% to stats instead of 120. He'll have a greatly raised attack and defense on both his super attacks, and this will be Bardock, and this will be additional for Bardock. So that's basically what this guy's going to be. Now, his relevance is going to be really good as an actual leader, actually having X amount of defense at the start of turn. I don't see it changing too much from this 59% and the additional per Ginyu. I would expect that to be the exact same. In fact, it will be. It'll be the exact same, pretty much carbon copy just for this. And remember, they're free-to-play units, and they both have pretty much identical stuff. So this is why. So this unit, though, right now, is a bit of a flop. One of the major reasons is, while he might be free to play, we still can't yet rainbow him. We are all one copy shy in the barbershop, and we don't know when that's going to be released. Possibly when this guy has his EZA, they'll release it. Up until then, in the Super Battle Road stages that you'll need to use him on, his best is to be paired with the physical one in order to flush out his LR power, his legendary power ability there. Now, outside of this, he's absolutely rubbish. Right now, he doesn't really hold any worth. It is nice that he does give this nice buff when he's on rotation, but prior to that, no. So, one of the things that does go for the Bardock squad is they both have two LRs. However, Bardock team does have one summonable LR, and it's actually a really good LR. Also had his EZA, is very, very good even prior to this as well, but even better now. So this is the LR Bardock, also on the top 20 of the physical most helpful units on my previous video. Has a brilliant leader skill for Battlefield, but we're not going to touch into that. So this, really good. You're going to get a lot of these links linked up with the LR1. So of course you're going to have a lot of these Team Bardock with Team Bardock, and then you've got Saiyan Pride, a Shadow No Limit legendary power. And here we have Same Warrior Race, Saiyan Pride, and Legendary Power. So you're going to have a lot of links out there, and they'll really help out. Team Bardock is attack and defense put in. Legendary Power is, of course, just a big attack. Saiyan Pride is just, again, a bigger attack. So really, really helps. And, of course, this guy gets a massive attack buff as well when he does his 18 key super attack. So it's even better. So this is the reason why they have the best LRs in this. But then it drops off a little bit. So in comparison, so this is Shugesh. Now, Shugesh, he's a stacker, so that's really good. And he does get a nice 200% buff when you run him on the Team Bardock team. So that's not bad for the start of turn. And of course, he gets critical hits if the enemy is stunned, and stunned if they're sealed. Now, actually, the strategy to use this in the Super Battle Road is to use STR Bardock first to seal, and then you use him to attack the same enemy, and he'll guarantee the stun. And on the other rotation, you have the LR Bardock and his 18 key to seal. So you can alternate between the seal, and and the final phase of that Super Battle Road is AGL Freezer, and you can keep him locked down on every other road. In fact, you can seal him indefinitely once you have your rotations up, and you can stun him on every other rotation. Meaning that's literally the only strat to do that with. Now that these guys are out, though, I'm looking forward to see if I can actually no-item it like the Ginyu Force one. So he's really good. Again, works really well, but only on the low-class warrior / Team Bardock one, really. If you're going to run storied figures, it'd be the Team Bardock one. Now, he does stack defense. He does have the option to stun and seal, and he does have the option to launch an additional super attack if any of this is triggered. So you will get that fairly obvious as one of the better ones. But in comparison, we just check out one of the first ones to come out of, say, is as a comparison would be this guy for Raccoon. And this guy, so he has a good chance of guarding. That's a 50% chance of guarding with another Ginyu force on the team. And he also builds attack and defense with each attack. So he has 120, and it goes up to another 120. So he has 240% attack and defense starting a turn compared to the other guy who has 200%. So in comparison, and the fact that he can guard as well, you find that this guy can just be a little better. You have got to get lucky slot 1, turn 1. But if the flip of the coin works, you can easily build a bunch of these attacks up to really, really help him come out. And at rainbow level, and it is only on the Ginyu Force team, which will only be around 120%, he still has over 200k defense. And that's actually pretty good. So the next one now that we have would be Bardock. So Bardock's a good one. Bardock is the one that hasn't come out yet. We can just get rid of this one. So yeah, so Bardock is the last one to come out, and he's really good in Battlefield, and he's really good now as he has attack and defense at the start of turn. Prior, he didn't. He still has the same damage reduction per Team Bardock category on the team. Now, actually, I'm looking forward to seeing how well he can tank with this in mind. So he now also does the additional thing of chance performing the crit per rainbow key sphere, which you probably won't actually attempt to aim for. The reason why you'll probably skip this is he's only here just to take some of the blows. He does get a nice 20% per key sphere obtained, which is nice. Prior to that, it was just attack. But this main guy's real role, it will just be enough to super, to tank, and seal. And in comparison, the guy next to him would be, we can get rid of that one, and it's him. So Jace. So Jace is the better comparison, I'm afraid. He's got this down right. I think the first and foremost that sets him apart compared to his comparison would be the fact that he has the Scouter ability on there. So the foresee enemy super attack is just outright, that's just flat, passive, no matter what team he's on. Meaning you could run him on Terrifying Conquerors and Space Traveling Warriors and even Dragon Ball Seekers, even if it's not around the Ginyu Force members, and you'll be able to see that flat out. There's no restriction. He does raise defense, even raises allies' attack and defense, and of course even gives extreme class allies a nice attack buff and 3 key. Do you know, if he had defense built into this, he'd be even better. But of course, defense is only for the Ginyu Force. Now, of course, the STR Bardock one, so he is good as a tank, but you'll find that this guy with his foreseeing enemy super attack would be better, and that's why these guys are chumping them off. So your next one now is Fascia. Fascia's good. Again, you can slap her on any of these teams based on the fact that she actually has a 50% chance of dodging any attack. That's just flat out. She has a nice 100% at 150% at the start of turn. She does have a nice 50% raise. She does lower attack and defense, which is good and probably one of the better standout ones of this. Now, this is an odd passive to have, but easy enough to trigger. So key 3 to all the Bardock allies and attack and defense after evading the attack. So she is a slot 1 unit. Now, prior to her awakening, she had a little bit of defense in there, so she could hold her own to some degree. Now she's got almost double the amount of defense at the start of turn, able to actually take a hit there if she needs to. Now, obviously, super attack will probably wipe her way out. But this is one of the more useful ones. Anyone who can dodge is going to be up there with the most useful abilities. Now, the counterpart, I'm afraid, for this caliber is, I'm afraid, Ginyu, who is one of the best int units going, and is one of the best free-to-play units going. No kidding. For the int units going, even though he didn't quite make it on the top 20 most helpful for the int, he is absolutely fantastic. Of course, he goes for attack, he stacks attack, he raises defense, he seals, has a massive 170% compared to Fasha's only 150. But I mean, that 20% when you're only talking on a 120% or 130% team does make a difference, because it's only 120 and 130% teams. So this is a really good one. And of course, he reduces damage when facing 2 or more enemies, and he has additional attack and defense when facing 1 enemy. Basically, this guy is the MVP of the Ginyu Force Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road. And I believe one of these links gives you damage reduction. I believe it's loyalty. Yeah, loyalty, which can be triggered with some of the other Ginyus. And that one, I think it's this one. Yeah, loyalty. So this with the LR, you can actually trigger a nice little bit of damage reduction, and of course he gets an upgrade off the key. So between these two, you'll find that, I'm afraid, as good as she is, the counterpart absolutely takes her out of the question altogether. Now, the next one will be Tora. Now, he's a nice one. So he has a nice key 3, 30% to stats for all Team Bardock allies. He does a nice 15% HP for this threshold. So it's pretty good. And of course, this has to be if you got 3 or more low-class warriors in the team. So again, of course, you got to use this on the Team Bardock, basically. Much like the Ginyu Force. You got to use them on there. However, as good as he is with his nice support and his nice heal, his counterpart, again, is even better. So again, a little bit of raised defense, but you have a 50% chance to stun the enemy. So that's better just on its own. Now, for every time you attack on rotation, for every attacked enemy, you actually guarantee the seal, the super attack. You also lower the attack and defense by 20% for 2 turns, and also gives an attack buff for himself for every Ginyu Force member on the team. So he gets a nice little something for him. Outside of that, the thing that makes him better than Tora, guaranteed seal on the just attack, lowers the enemy attack just on attack. He can raise his own defense to cover him, but a 50% chance to stun. This guy is more valuable, and you can actually run him as the main counterpart of any of the units. He can be really clutch in some events like Dragon Ball Seeker, Space Traveling Warriors. You don't have to actually put him on a Ginyu team, although he does get this because of it, which might make him more specifically focused towards it. But the fact that he debuffs the enemy, seals, has a chance of stunning, I'm afraid Tora just doesn't quite cut it. And that's for that one. And of course, the next one is Borgos versus Berta. So Borgos is one of those funny ones, but he still actually has a good one. Now, he can be good if the situation allows him, if the flip of the coins work. So again, 150%, that's pretty much standard across the board now. He has again a 50% to raise. Again, we're seeing that quite a lot. What makes him stand out though is a 50% chance to stun the enemy. That's good. And of course, he does have a nice 100% buff against one enemy, much like the int Ginyu. And of course, he does have an additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. That actually is the reason why he, alongside the physical Bardock, is actually the only aces in the hole that they have. So you have 2 50-50 chances of launching this super attack. Now, in the Super Battle Road, all but the final stage has 2 or more enemies in there, so you're good on that. You also have a 50% chance to crit if there's a Team Bardock ally in the same turn. You're going to have that. You don't actually have to run him on the Team Bardock, because you're only going to get a crit. The fact that you can just run him on some of the others, low-class warriors and storied figures, you can trigger, even on pure Saiyans, you could probably get Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Pride, Saiyan Lineage, Shattering the Limit, and Prepared for Battle, so you're not going to struggle in many regards there. And of course, this guy with his 50% chance to stun, and if you get this to trigger, you will have another 50% chance to stun. And even if you don't get that to trigger, you still got this 50% here, and it's 150% here. Compared to the Berta one, this one does fall short. So as I say, the ace in the hole does fall to Bardock on that. Now he does stack defense, but the problem with this guy is why he's actually terrible is while he does have a 50% chance of dodging any attack, it's as the first attacker. So if he's in slot 1, all those hits prior to attack, he will have no chance of dodging unless you spec him for dodge. And of course, then he has a 30% chance to launch an additional super attack, whereas Borgos has the guaranteed additional, but again, 2 or more enemies, which is a lot easier to get than just as a 30% chance in the second or third turn. He does get an additional attack and defense per key sphere obtained. That's very similar to the STR Bardock's kit. But again, this guy is just so underwhelming. If this was just in slot 1, because they do go ahead and try and narrow it down to specific second and third attacker, first attacker. If this was just second and third slot, slot 1, this will be just overall better. It'll be more akin to the fascia. But just as a comparison on counterparts, this guy is definitely better in this regard. And of course, the final few that we look into. So physical Bardock, the LR physical Bardock is the counterpart to this. And he is definitely better than this unit, bar none. He's a summonable unit, so that's just out of the question. But the question comes now down to is who's actually the better leader? Because now this guy has his EZA, and he's 130. But this guy is 120% of stats. Now you're thinking, oh yeah, okay, so you're just going to go for the 130. Yes, but this guy is all types. So he's a nice all types leader. And prior to that, it's 77%. So for new players, that's actually useful. For actually free-to-play players or just new players, that's actually useful. Now, of course, in this, it is not as good as the other Ginyu Force one, but you're only looking at a 10% stat difference. So if you're really looking to get it out, then flush it out, then yes. But remember, after these EZAs, the Super Battle Road and the Extreme Super Battle Road is a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park. It's an easy no item. That's if you want to make yourself feel good for the term. So of course, definitely better that you raise attack and defense on the super attacks now while still retaining a nice buff for everyone. He does give himself key. He does have a nice attack and defense. That's actually more as well than the 58-59% of the tech one. And of course, he gets this much like the tech one as well, where he builds up per on the team. And of course, he also gives all allies and a nice 30% of stats, which again is quite nice. Again, that's very similar to this guy, who again, he gives extreme class allies that buff, but no key, and Ginyu Force, again, but no key. Whereas in this guy, he does give all allies 3 keys. He's just definitely better. Definitely better. But when it comes to that counterpart, no, he's absolutely rubbish. So again, this guy. This guy is better than the Int one, purely because there is an EZA for him at the moment, and also because you can actually wrangle this guy. But of course, his EZA would also show you just exactly what's going to happen with the Bardock. Now, there's probably an 80% chance that I'm right on this one, because they have the exact same stats going for them. The only difference is, of course, that's Bardock and Superclass. So that's basically what you're going to be seeing. So again, in a nutshell, you find that Ginyu Force is definitely better. And on the counterparts, you will find that the Ginyu Force, all but 1, or 2 in that case, actually, with the LRs, all but 2 realistically are all in favor of Ginyu. But the ones in the Bardock favor are really strong units. The Borgos and the physical Bardock in this instance. But in general, this is what you're looking at. So that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it, or at least I hope you found this entertaining, or at least at a very hopeful chance, I hope you find it useful. Until then, goodbye.